Let's try to see a quick sneak peek that what we are trying to build in the document understanding series. In my input folder, I have 3 PDF. 2 are invoice, one is a native invoice, one is a scanned invoice, and then I have a receipt which is also in a scanned format. I'll go to my automation and I'll say run the file. Automation completed in 31 seconds. In the folder, I have 3 Excel file now. For the invoice, the relevant data such as the server name, the total and the date is extracted. Similarly, for the invoice, we have extracted the account number, the invoice number as well as the date. And same goes for the invoice number 2. So this is the automation we are going to build. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the next video in the UiPath document understanding series, where we are trying to look at the UiPath document understanding in a step-by-step manner. In the previous videos of the playlist, we have already seen what exactly is document understanding, why it is important. We have also discussed this complete roadmap, or I would say life cycle of document understanding. And now in this series, we are going through all the stages in a one-by-one manner. So in the previous, we have already seen what is load taxonomy, we have done the digitization, and today the one which is highlighted in green is the classification, right? And the one which are grayed out are the upcoming videos in the playlist. Also, I have received a feedback from you guys that you want to practice along with me. So in the first video, I have already shown you that where you can download the files. The files are available on my website. You can watch this playlist along with me, and at the end, we both would have the same document understanding use case with us. So today we are going to see what exactly is the classification, which is the next stage in the document understanding. This would be our agenda. We are going to start with a very small recap that what we have done so that we can build a flow. Then we are going to jump to what exactly is classification, what are the various kind of classifier which are available, what is the difference between keyword based and a machine learning based classification. We are going to see activities such as the classify document scope, how to utilize that, what are the input, what are the output, and all the things related to classification we are going to discuss in this video. Okay. In case you are liking this content and you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel to get the latest videos in the playlist. The subscription is free for you, but it helps me to grow my YouTube channel. Having said that, let's get started. Okay, so let's quickly have a recap that what exactly we have been trying to do and what all we have done till this point, right? So we have the 3 input files, 2 invoices and 1 receipt, and we have decided that what data we want to extract from these invoices and the receipts, right? For the ease of coding, we have kept all this file into my document understanding solution, and I hope you are also doing the same. In the first video, we have seen how we can define the taxonomy. So this is the taxonomy.json which was created, which means that we have told the document understanding project that these are the details I want to extract from these files. Okay. Now some of these files are the native PDF and some of these were the scanned PDF. So what did we do? Next, in the document understanding, we introduced a phase which was called the digitization. With the help of the OCR engines, we were able to get the digitized text out of the scanned one. So as you can see, this is the receipt which was scanned. We were able to get the digitized data with the help of the digitization state, and the output was and digitized text, as you can see on the screen. And at the same time, we also get an important thing which was document object model, DOM. Right. So till this point, we have already built our automation. Now today we are going to see what exactly is classification and why it is important. So if I go by the definition, what exactly is a classification? So after the digitization, once I have my document which the robots can read, now the UiPath document understanding have to classify the project. Now, if I talk about classification, it simply means how would the automation know whether this document is a receipt, this document is an invoice, or this document is a passport. So what happens in the classification? all the documents whichever we have got are passed through this classification, and the output is the robot is classifying whether the document is an invoice, is it a receipt, it is a purchase order, or it is something which I don't know. So if you focus on this diagram, this is what it says. So you have multiple documents which are coming to the robot. The robot is in the classification stages now, and from these documents the robot will classify that okay, these are the invoices, these are the receipts, these are the purchase order, and these are some of the documents which I don't know. So classification is very important. It simply means that how do you want to classify the document. With the classifier, the robots can identify the document types. It can split the file into multiple documents as well. So that is why classification is important. So till this point, if you see this technically, we have told UiPath that yes, this is the data from the taxonomy I want to extract, and it has all the data. But how would the robot know that this is a receipt? Or how would the robot know that this is an invoice, right? We need to teach, and that teaching and that classification happens in the classification stage. So with that, let's go to UiPath Studio and see that in action. I am back into my UiPath Studio. So this is the same automation, guys, which we have been writing. I hope you are following along with me. So in the project, we have the input files, invoice 1, invoice 2, and the receipts, right? And we have this initialization where we are just passing this name. Then we completed the taxonomy and we completed the digitization, right? So in the digitization, we are just digitizing the document, and we have used OCR because some of the documents were scanned, right? Now after the digitization, I'll go to the activities and take one more sequence. And today we have to do the classification, right? I hope now you guys understand. By the end of this video, you will automatically understand why this is important. Okay. So classification simply means whatever document is coming from here, what kind of document it is. So that's what we have to classify. And in the classification, I'll go to the activities, and the first thing I'll take is a log message activity, right? Good practice. That's what we have been following up. And I'll simply go here and I'll log a message, and I'll call this that classification started. Now I also want to check for which document, right? So the document which we have stored is in this variable, which is str document path, that is having the complete document path, right? So I'll just print that here. Okay, so that variable I am not, it's here, str document path, right? So I'll just do it like this. Okay, so classification started for this document, so that I know that yes, the classification started. Now to do the classification, if I just go here and search for classification, so you would see a lot of activities which are coming for classification. You have to use this one, which is the classify document scope. Okay, so classify document scope, because I want to do the classification and I want to do the classification for the document. So I will just search here classification document scope. Drag and drop this inside your classification block. And now this is going to ask you a lot of details. Details such as where exactly is your document which you want to classify. So where is my document? My document is asking for the document path, the complete path, which is in here. See, str document path. So I'll just go here and I'll pass the str document path here. Done. Next it is asking me, Mukesh, what is your taxonomy? And the taxonomy is here. That which variable? If you go here, we have loaded it in the variable of taxonomy, right? So same variable we pass here taxonomy. Not this, I think the variable is, let me check in the variables. Yeah, so now if you see here, I am not getting the taxonomy variable. I hope you guys understood. That is because of the scope. So I'll click on this taxonomy, go to the variables and increase the scope from taxonomy to the main sequence. Next we'll go to the taxonomy and we'll write here taxonomy. So make sure that you pass the same variable which you have used here. So my T taxonomy is in small, because of the scope I was not able to get it. Next, it is asking me what is the document text and the document object model. Now document text is the digitized text, right? What it has to digitize. So the digitization of the document text we did here. This is the output, str document text and DOM. So I'll go to the variable and I'll increase the scope for these two also to main sequence, so it is accessible to all the upcoming automations as well. I'll save this and then I'll go back to my classification, and here what is the document text? Now it is just like the mapping. So document text is str document text, right? That's why it's important to rename the variables properly. Document object model we have stored in this variable DOM. You can see here, this is the document object model. So far so good. Now it is asking me where should I store the output, right? So the output should be stored in a variable which is a classification result. So I'll go here, hit Ctrl plus K and create a variable called classification results, right? So whatever the classification it has done, that will be coming for me in the classification here, right? Now this activity has got some properties which are mentioned here. These are the same property which you have filled here, right? So there is no additional property. The only thing is the name of the activity, which you can keep it as it is. Now the next thing, this activity is asking me that you have not specified any classifier. Now what exactly is this classifier? So in UiPath you have different type of classifier. Now you might be thinking that why do I have different kinds of classifier? Now to classify the document, UiPath has got different approaches. If I have to ask you guys, tell me how do you know that this and this is an invoice and this is a receipt? So you can clearly say that Mukesh, on the top of this it is written as invoice. Here also it is written as invoice. So we can see that it is an invoice. The other thing, we can also see that for the receipts, we can clearly see that we have the server name, we have the restaurant name here, we have the coffee and all these items, right? So I can clearly differentiate. But now think from a robot point of view. We have given that what data I want to extract, and we have also given this digitized text, but we never told it that how to identify. So same like as a human, I am able to identify that yes, this is, look for this thing, look for this, look for the server, look for this coffee, look for this total. We have to tell UiPath also, and that telling of UiPath is done in the classification. Now it is of multiple type. One way is same like this, which we have discussed, that I tell UiPath that use for this keyword based classification, use for this keywords. The other could be machine learning based classification, where I am telling UiPath to use the power of machine learning, use your own ML intelligence and classify this document accordingly, right? And that is what UiPath is asking me here. Drop the classifier here. Which classifier you want to use? So I'll go to the activities, and if I just search here classifier, right, it is asking me for classifier. So I'll go here and I'll search classifier, and you would see here I have intelligent keyword classifier, I have keyword based classifier, right? Now intelligent keyword classifier means it will intelligently get the keywords, and the keyword based classifier is you as a human, same like you are telling you will teach UiPath, right? So since we are creating this for the first time, we would go with the basic one first, then only we would understand the significance of the intelligent keyword, right? So I hope you guys understand that what is a classifier. The classifier helps UiPath classification document scope to classify the document. Okay, so from the activities, now I want you guys to take this one, which is the keyword based classifier, which means that I am telling UiPath that as of now I am not going through the I am not going through the machine learning based classification. I want to do a keyword based classification. Okay, and keyword based classification, you just drag and drop it here. Now Keyword based classifier is asking me where exactly is the learning path. Now what is a learning path, right? So I will teach this document that okay, this is invoice, this is receipt, this is the keyword. UiPath is asking me, I will understand, but where I will store this information. Same like when we created taxonomy, if you go to the project, in the document understanding, all these details, that what data to extract was stored in this file taxonomy.json. Similarly, in the classification, now UiPath is asking me, okay, I understand that yes, you want to extract this information. These are the keywords which you are going to provide me, but where should I store? I cannot store that in taxonomy. You need to provide me a place. So that's what it is asking me, learning file path. Where is my learning file path? So you can just go to the folder, which is this one, document processing. Open this folder. Okay, here you already see something which is taxonomy.json, right? You already have a JSON file which is created, taxonomy.json, this one, right? Now you simply copy and paste the file. Okay, please follow this step properly, right? You just copy paste and make a copy of the taxonomy. Okay, so whatever copy you have done, rename it to classification. Okay, so I created a copy of taxonomy and I made a classification, and now just open the classification, open with notepad. Okay, delete everything from the classification and save this. Okay, please don't delete anything from the taxonomy. I created a copy, I renamed it to classification, and then it should be absolutely blank file like this. It should not have anything. Okay, the other way is you can create a blank notepad file and save it as JSON and name it to classification, right? But since I already had the JSON, so I thought this is an easier way of creating a JSON, right? Otherwise you have to save as, change the type, all types, JSON and all that you can do. But the idea is you need to have a blank JSON file for the classification. And this file, UiPath is going to store all the data for these keywords, that which keywords you want to train this for. Okay, so now we have got this file here. Hit a quick refresh, classification.json. So now you can just click on this file button and I'll point it to the classification.json and say open, and that error is gone. Okay, so now we understand that yes, all the keywords are going to stored in this one. Now we understand that all the keywords to classify the documents are going to be in that file, which is absolutely blank as of now, right? We have kept it blank. Now you might be thinking, where are the keywords? We didn't provided the keywords yet, right? So that keyword would be provided in this button, which is manage the learning. So I'll go here and I click on this button, which is manage the learning, and this will open a set this thing for me, right? Manage keyword based classification learning, where UiPath is asking me that okay, now you provide me what are the keywords I should look in the text. And now when I say text, I means the digitized text, right? So now you would be able to follow along the sequence, right? That why the digitization was important, because the digitization tells us, gives us the digitized text. Now once the text is digitized, then you can find the keywords, right? So now here we have to just find the keywords. So we have two kinds of documents, invoices and receipts, right? And now don't get surprised where it is coming from. This is coming from the taxonomy, right? So you provided the taxonomy path. So UiPath understand that yes, this developer wants to extract the invoice and receipts. And now here you pass the document text as well, that this is the document text. So whatever you have passed, it's coming in this variable. You have the document object model, you have the path. And now UiPath is asking me, Mukesh, now tell me what are the keywords I should look. So this is a keyword based classification which the developer is doing. We are not doing any machine learning here, right? We are doing a keyword based classifier. Okay, machine learning maybe we'll do sometime in future. So in the invoices, so let's go here and try to understand. So invoices, I have this word invoice here, and here also I have the word invoice, right? So one word is clearly, I can see that in the invoices, if I go here, I can have something which is called invoice. Now here, this is a set. Okay, these are the different keyword sets, so that it is asking me that what could be the other set which you can look for, right? So if I go to the invoices now, right, so this is one invoice. I can see both the have something which is called invoice, and then I can see both the things have something which is called your account number, right? And we have something which is called the date. We have here also, we have the email, phone, right? And we have all this something like account, right? So all these keywords which are you are able to identify, you can just go here and put it like this. So you can put a comma here, you can put that like this. So now I am telling UiPath that you look for this word, you look for this word into the invoices, whatever you get from the digitized text, and if you are able to find it, that means that you can say that it is an invoice. And same here, I'll pass invoice, right? Because that's a different set I want to put, right? Invoice, or maybe someday it can be in face voice, right? So that again depends on how do you want to see it, right? But I hope you understand this context, that this is what I want to go for the invoices, right? Similarly for the receipts, right? As of now, let's say I am putting here receipt and receipt, okay, and I am assuming that the receipt should have this one, right? Without looking, I just put a random keyword, and I want to show you what actually happens. Okay, so till this point we have put this invoices, receipt, right? I want you to follow along with me the same way I have done, right? Put all these keywords, whatever you feel as relevant to identify, and since we are putting the keyword, that's why it is called keyword based classifier. I just go here and I click on this button, which is save. Okay, as soon as you click on save, just go back to the classification, right click on it and open it. You would see here whatever details you have given are now added to that JSON file which we just kept blank, right? So UiPath is not doing any magic, right? It is using this classification, the data digitized text, mapping with this one and trying to give you the classification, right? But the thing is, it is all handy features for us, right? But as a developer, you need to understand why that file was important, right? So we created a blank file, we added here, and all the data is now getting added to the classification document. Okay, next, still I have an error. Let's point it to the error, and you should also know how to fix the error, right? So just read the error. What does it say? Not all the classifier has been configured. Please configure the classifier, keyword based classifier, and save the configuration. Okay, so now we can have different kinds of documents. Let's try to understand this error, right? So I have different kinds of documents. I have invoices, I have receipts, I can have passports, and then we have seen that we have different type of classifiers, machine learning, keyword based classifier. Now UiPath is asking me, how would I know which document you want to classify with which classifier? So chances are there in your project, which might be a real-time project, you want to classify the invoices only with the keyword, but for the receipts you want a machine learning based classifier, or maybe for the passports or any other document you want a other type of classifier. UiPath is not going to take that decision for you. You have to tell UiPath, and that's what this error means. Not all classifier has been configured. Please configure. And at the bottom you see there is a button which says configure the classifier. I'll click on that, and that opens the classifiers. So now it says me that these are the documents which you have, because we have invoices, we have receipts, and these are the classifier. Once you have more, you would have all the classifier listed here, right? So we are keeping this demo very simple, that once you get the confidence, then we'll try the other things, right? So these are the type of invoices, these are the type of documents you have, and these are the classifier. I can simply go here and click on this button, and I say that for the invoices I want to do it with the classifier, keyword based classifier. For the receipts also I want to do it with the keyword based classifier. Simple as that, very simple, right? We just told the keyword based classifier that please use this classifier for this document, and I say save, and the error is gone, right? So these are the settings which we need to do in the classified document scope. Okay, so I hope till this point you are able to follow along with me, right? And next what would happen is whatever document we have passed here at the top, it should be able to classify the document for us and give us the result, right? So let me just go here and I'll put a right line, and I want to run this in a debug mode. Okay, I'll just put a breakpoint here. I'll save this. Okay, and which document we have passed here? So let's try to pass the invoice one first, and so I am passing invoice one, which is a PDF file, invoice1.pdf, right, in the initialization. Let's try to see what actually we get in the output. Okay, so this is all configured, classification is ready. So I'll just go here and say debug the file. Okay, so what should happen? The document understanding process will run. It will read our invoice one, which is I guess this guy, right? And in the classification we have given a lot of details. Digitization will happen, and let's see how it behaves. Okay, so the robot has started. So it will first go to the taxonomy, load the taxonomy. It is a scanned one, so it will digitize with the help of OCRs, and we can see I think the output here. Yeah, so loading the taxonomy has started. Taxonomy started, taxonomy completed. Starting the digitization, it says the digitization has been completed, and then it says the classification started for this guy, which is invoice1.pdf, and that's it, because we didn't log any message, right? Now see here, the output of the classification is a classification result which is of the type array, right? So let's go to the locals and see what do we get in the classification result. So this is the classification results which we have got. You can click on this pencil icon, or you can just expand it here like this, and we should be able to see it here. It will take some time to open it, and then we can see it. Yeah, it's here, right? So inside the classification result, this is what UiPath is going to give you all the details, right? Taxonomy and all these variables we have already discussed. This is the new variable. Here you will see something which is called the classification result, and in the classification result, this is what I was talking about, right? So in the classification result, you would see that I have one item, classification result. The classifier name is the keyword based classifier. You know where it is coming from. It has a confidence of 70%, and this is important. We'll discuss this in a later video, but just remind that yes, we have, just keep in mind that we have something which is called confidence. Now keyword based classifier with 70% confidence is saying that the document which you have passed me, invoice1.pdf, is of the type invoices, and which is correct, right? It is invoices, and this name is important because it is coming from what you have defined in the taxonomy. Okay, so now I hope this is making sense to you guys, and now let's try to simply print this classification result, right? And that way we can test the other things as well, right? So after this classification here, I'll delete this and I'll add a log message activity. Okay, and this I'll log as info, and here I will just use the classification result, right? I'll put a 0, which is the first value because we have only one classifier. I'll put dot, okay, and then here you will get all the details. The classifier name which we have been getting, document ID was the name, document type ID was having that what kind of document it is, and this is what I am interested in, right? And this is how you will get what kind of document you have. Classification result, the number, because I have the first one, so dot 0 dot document ID. And to make it readable, I'll just say document classified as, and I'll hit a plus, right? So that way I will get this error in my log message that this document is classified as this thing. I'll save this, okay, and I'll add one more log message after this where I say the classification completed. Okay, I'll go here, save this and run the file. Okay, so the invoice one we have been passed, so the name of the invoice we have passed invoice one, and now you would see the benefits of using the logs. So the invoice which we have passed is the invoice one, and the output which I am expecting is that for this it should be classified as the invoices, right? That's what classification means. So we'll just wait, and here we can see that the document is classified as invoices, right? Digitization, I'll just let you focus on this taxonomy started. Invoice one is classified now as invoices, right? Let's try with the other invoice, and I'll go here and I'll pass the invoice number 2. I'll save this, right? As of now we are doing it manually, but as soon as we progress in this automation, we'll do it manually also. We'll do it automatically, sorry, so that it reads one by one, right? But first we need to understand the flow so that it's easy to build upon the automation. Now the next one, I have changed the invoice. Now it is the second invoice, and let's see what we are getting here, right? And here you can see that now this is also classified as invoice. So far so good, right? Let's try with the receipts. So I'll go here and I'll pass here the receipt, right? I hope you are understanding where I am getting this. This is stored in my project file only, right? This one. Now let's see what happens for the receipts, and I want to run it in a debug mode. So I'll put here a breakpoint, right, in the classification results. This is for the receipts. Now let's see that in action. It's important to run and see all the things in debugging, right? I could have directly run it, but I want to show you guys that how does the error look like, right? So let's see. I know that it may be able to classify, it may not be able to classify, but you should be able to understand the errors as well, right? So that's why I'm running in debug mode. So what is happening? We have given the invoices is working fine. Now I am testing my classification with the help of receipts, right? And let's see what do we get. So the digitization has started classifying the document, and it has came to the breakpoint. Now if I go to the classification results, I see 0. It is not able to classify the receipts. It has this digitized text, which is the Roxanne Cafe, whatever we have, but it's not able to digitize. Now if I try to log this, I'll get an error, which is simply it will say that, hey, you don't have any classification result. What are you trying to get? Index out of bound exception, which simply means that you don't have anything in the array. What are you trying to print? Now let's try to understand why the invoice was not processed as the receipts. Some of you might have guessed it correctly. If you understood, pause the video, write in the comments why it was not classified. If not, I'm anyways going to tell you. Okay. So here, if you go to the manage learning, in this we are telling UiPath that To classify that document as receipts, you need to have the word receipt in it. But if you go to the receipt, there is no word which is called receipt here. So how it will know that it is a receipt? There is no magic happening. This is a keyword based classifier. So we have to tell the keywords which will help UiPath to identify the receipt. I hope you understood that thing, right? That is why I have intentionally put here receipt. And since this was not available, it's not able to classify. Now, if I have to classify, I have to put something which is in this format, such as the server, the table, the check, maybe the name of the cafe, right? Let's try to fix that. In the receipt, I understood that receipt is not available. I'll put something which is called this guy, I think server, right? Server would be there, table would be also there. So I can say server, I can say table, then I can say one more keyword set can be check, right? And then, sorry, my bad, I'll go here, and then here I can say client, right? It can be client, it can be check, right? So all these keywords you can put here. Client, I can say check. Okay, so I'm just typing the keywords. Maybe server, I'll put alone, right? So these are all the keywords which I have added. Let's try to save this. And what would happen? Now your classifier document would have updated automatically. I'll save this and let's try to run the same automation again, but this time with the updated keywords. Okay, so we'll just wait and let's see what happens. Hopefully it should be able to classify, right? So it has started. Let's go to the logs. Okay, so I hope guys you were able to understand this. And classification started, and this time I have got a classification result, right, which is 1. So let's now try to print this. I say step into, and the document is classified as receipts, and that way the classification is completed. How cool is that, right? So we were able to successfully classify all the documents which we have used in our project, right? I am feeling happy that yes, I have completed the classification. I hope you guys are also feeling confident now in document understanding, right? If that is the case, please let me know in the comments. Okay, and now back to the presentation. Okay, so this is what we have seen, what exactly is a classification and why it is important. Okay, now there are different kind of classifier which are available. The keyword based classifier we have just used, we have the intelligent keyword classifier, and we have the ML based classifier as well. Now the second column is where it is. So we have used the UiPath intelligent OCR activity, that is a part of this one. The intelligent keyword classifier is also part of the same package, but in case you want to use this classifier, this would be enabled, and these are the prerequisite, right? We are going to see this one in later videos once we complete this, because first you need to understand the document understanding framework. How does it work? What is the classifier? Why exactly we need the intelligent keyword classifier, right? First you need to understand the pain point, then you would only understand that why it is important, right? So this we will see in a later part of video. Today we have just seen the keyword based classifier. Now what does it do? Well, classify documents with the specific words which are known in advance. So keyword based classifier is used when you know the words in advance. Invoice, server, table, coffee, invoice, receipts, account number, right? That we know and we put it. Now classify documents of the various type. It has all these capabilities, and it has all these intelligent capabilities as well, which we would discuss in a later part of video. Can it split the document pack? No. If you have multiple documents, can it split it? No. This can split and this cannot split. Is it retrainable? Which means that in case I have retrained the model, Can you retrain it? The answer to that question is yes, and we will see that how we can retrain it in the next video, right? So we were going to train our keyword based classifier again. Okay, and then UiPath also have something which is called the pre-trained classifier, which are available at this endpoint du.uipath.com classify ml classification, which uses the power of machine learning to classify this document. So as of now you would have seen that I am putting those keywords one by one. If it is a very large project, it becomes a problem. So we can utilize the machine learning classification. All of that in the later part of the videos. Okay, but understand, remember, you have different type of classifiers. Okay, so this was the activity we have used, which is the document classification scope, and these are the inputs: document object model, document path, document text, and the taxonomy, which we are getting from the previous activities, right? And the output of the classification result was an array which has this object. Now the classification object contains all these details, and I just discussed about the two things, but as a developer you should know document type ID, which is matched from the taxonomy, document ID, which is the name of the document, content type, what exactly is the content, confidence is important because that is the number between 0 and 1. 1 means 100% confidence, 0 means not at all confident that what kind of document it is. There was one more value which was called OCR confidence. It ranges from 0 to 1. OCR confidence for the characters that are being reported for reference, right? So whatever number is there, 0 means not confident, 1 means 100% confident, 0.71, 71% confidence, right? So OCR confidence is also there. Why it is OCR confidence? Because the OCR has digitized it. That's why it is telling you that these are the OCR confidence, right? Now there are some additional information which are like reference, document bounds. This simply means that in the document object model, where exactly the classification station was able to find your word, what location it was able to find. So we told it to find the word invoice. Now where it was find, all those information is also in our output of the classification result, right? And lastly you have the classifier name. This is automatically populated depending on what you have used for the classifications, right? So in case you are having multiple classifier, then this would make sense. So classifier name was automatically coming for us as dot keyword based classifier, right? So these details you get in the output of the classification result. After that we have used a keyword based classifier. The for the keyword based classifier you just need to provide a classifier.json file, and it automatically put all the keywords in that document. Okay, so this is one of the classifier details from one of the different project. As you can see, this is our taxonomy. This was our taxonomy for a different project, right? Accounting, invoice, receipts. So all the things whichever you have in your taxonomy, if you are using keyword based classifier, you would have to provide the keywords for everything here, right? So I hope now you guys are able to relate to these screenshots. Okay, after that we have used the keyword based classifier, and whatever I have these documents here, if I have to configure them, I just have to put all these details here like this, so that it helps the UiPath keyword based classifier to identify the documents with the keywords, right? And all these details is coming from your taxonomy only. Today in this video we have only used one classifier, but as I was telling, we can use multiple classifier as well. Now we have to configure the classifier, right? Remember, UiPath was asking me which classifier should I use for invoice, which classifier should I use for receipts. In case you have more than one classifier, you can just see this screenshot and you can relate that how it would look like. So in my taxonomy I have document type 2, document type 3, and then I have one flexi capture classifier, and then I had a keyword based classifier. And now here in UiPath it is asking me that which one should I use for what type. So let's say for the document 2 I want to use the flexi capture, so I'll tick it here. For the type 3 I want to use the keyword based classifier, so I'll put here. For this I want to use both, so I'll put it here, right? So that's how you can change it with different classifiers. In our case we have one classifier, so that's why we tick both here, but that is just to show you guys that in case you have a DU project which is already in front of you, you can check, and if they are using multiple classifier, what does this actually mean, right? So this is where the configure classifier come in picture. Okay, so all you have to do is just place one classifier, that is the minimum. You can always put more than one classifier. Okay, and lastly, on the configure classifier you have to also put something which is the confidence, which is this one, right? So as you can see, this is from one more other project where we have configured the classifier, financial report, invoice, and this. So I am telling UiPath that for the invoice use the flexi capture, for the financial report use the keyword based classifier and the flexi capture classifier, right? We can have more than one classifier, both the classifier can be enabled, right? And then we are also setting the confidence level. So minimum confidence level is 80 and here it is 0, right? It simply means that if the keyword based classifier has a confidence of greater than 80%, then that particular document is a financial report. So 80 means that if the confidence, right, remember it was showing us the confidence, if the confidence is 80%, then only classify it with the keyword based classifier, else pass it to the next classifier. So what will happen in the runtime? First it will go and see, okay, what is the keyword based classifier giving. The keyword based classifier will give the that yes, it is a financial report. Then it will ask you what is the confidence, and here you have set the confidence to 80, right? You can change this number. So you have set the confidence to 80. When it is 80 and above, then only it will use the this classifier. Otherwise, if it is, let's say 65%, 20%, 25%, it will move to the next classifier. That setting, that classification, that configuration is also done at this level, right? So these additional slide I just wanted to show you that yes, if you have multiple classifier, how does it look like? Okay, so today I don't wanted to go into details, I just wanted to complete our automation, and then maybe in the advanced videos we will see how to use multiple classifier and all those details. Okay, so that was all about this session of the classification. I hope you were able to follow along with me and you have created till this point, right? If you have any more questions, any more doubts, feel free to write me in the comments, or you can also drop me an email as well, right? I would really appreciate your feedback on this series, that how we are going. Is there anything we can improve? Are you liking this? If that is the case, just let me know in the comments, right? And if you find this series valuable, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next video of the document understanding. Thank you for watching and happy automation.